So I want to talk about a couple of your recent exits, and you've had a couple of high-profile ones. And I have to start with Instagram, which was no doubt a very successful investment for you. You were involved right from the beginning.
Wrote the first check.
Wrote the
Kevin.
first check.
Yep.
They're getting a really big check, some of which you get to have, in this deal. $1 billion valuation for a company with a dozen people, and it make with no real revenue at this point. Fabulously successful in terms of as a viral application, millions of users, but there has been some eye-opening. It's been kind of an eye-opening deal where people go, "Oh my God, this has got to be a bubble," and I'm not sure if that's fair or not, but talk a little bit about the significance of a company of that size generating an exit of that magnitude.
Well, I mean, no question that I think a lot of people might wonder, how could that possibly be, right? And yes, it's true that Kevin and Mike and the team hadn't started monetizing yet, but the user growth and the engagement levels of those users were just off the charts. So if you could use a proxy for any other company that actually has a valuation that's much larger, like Facebook or others, it will, and this of course will, the test of time will prove if this was correct or not, but it really seems right now that the user base, which was growing so rapidly.
How many users do they have?
Well, they announced 30, and they were well on track to get to 50 million, and probably we're going to hit it at some point soon. So you can just look at the numbers that the company's disclosed and say, well, we're definitely on that path. And for all I know, it's probably accelerated since the announcement. By judging how many followers I've added since then, it would be like, okay, there's more people coming on at a faster rate than ever before. For me, what got me really interested in what Kevin was doing is that, and I look for this in every entrepreneur, which is somebody who is passionate, somebody who believed in what they were, in his case, Kevin was doing. He listens and was very thoughtful about feedback, but then at the end of the day would come up with his own opinions on where things should go. And that to me is just a real pleasure to work with, is somebody who, and that's really a criteria that I look for, is creative, listens, thoughtful, and then opinionated. In our case, where we really hit it off was that we both believed some big things, like photos were going to be interesting. We thought maybe location was interesting, and mobile was interesting. I mean, Kevin's whole thing was only on mobile, and that's the way it's always been. I mean, there still isn't really a web presence whatsoever. So it turned out that there are plenty of other companies that started around the same time, and Kevin and Mike had the secret sauce that really made it work. It made people really engage with the product, and that to me is the most important thing that you can achieve at the seed level.
So another recent exit you had was with OMG Pop. I mean, there's one wildly successful game, Draw Something, that have you played before in the video gaming space? And talk a little about what made that such an unusual situation.
Well, what was unusual is just similar to Instagram, is just the number of people that signed on and then were coming back every single day. So the engagement. I mean, I think you guys wrote about engagement is what really matters, and I would agree with that. And so, in the gaming space is also, you've well covered, is it's a hit-driven business, and these companies or their products have just hit the hearts and minds of the users, and that is valuable, especially for someone in Zynga and Oh My God's case, or in Facebook and Instagram's case, where they have an engine that can monetize and can make it even bigger, faster, better, sooner.